Okay.
Hello, everyone. Blue Star Saber here once again to do another One Piece chapter review, and this time I have Retrospect Greg to join me.
Hello, everyone.
You may all remember here, you may know him from his own YouTube channel for the Rise and Fall of Naruto videos, as well as his few other well-known videos he's discussed, such as Bleach, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Kingdom Hearts, Legend of Zelda, etc., and many more.
Yeah. Well, right now for the rest of the year, I'm probably going to be preoccupied with Yu-Gi-Oh, Mega Man X, and Yakuza, and then hopefully after that I'll get back to Kingdom Hearts and Castlevania, as well as doing some character-based videos in general, and then because I got a pretty big plate for the rest of the year, along with whatever comes out, because Yu-Gi-Oh is taking up most of my time as far as the manga side goes.
Well, you're reviewing the manga side, not the anime side, I take it.
Yeah. I mean, well, I had. Well, the fun fact is, I had that part one partially written before I just but I was so overwhelmed by all that I had to do that I pushed it back. But then, and I was going to do something else before, but then Kazuki Takahashi's unexpected passing caused me to push Yu-Gi-Oh up.
Fair enough. If I recall, he was the mangaka for all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga series that came after,
the
right?
original, yes. I don't think he did the sequel stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I hope not, because Arc V's ending, from what I heard, was, well, boy. But we're not really here.
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, as far as Yu-Gi-Oh goes, I'm only familiar with the original show. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the original series. I'm not familiar too much with the sequel stuff.
But yeah. But we're not really here to discuss Yu-Gi-Oh! We're here to talk about One Piece. Oh, granted, it probably came around the same time as Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah.
Actually, Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out about a year before One Piece did.
Yeah, that's well around the same time, really. But yeah. Too hard to imagine, but yes. But One Piece, the 158th chapter, The New Emperors. There's also the first chapter in the Final Saga of One Piece after.
Yeah, do we have a name for this new saga or what?
I don't know yet. I don't know what the name of this new arc or new saga just is yet. All I know is that this is apparently the Final Saga. After 25 years, we are finally here.
Well, it's just kind of funny considering Oda thought the story would only take 5 years to tell.
Yeah, it is kind of funny, but well enough, some characters that are arguably part of the reason why it lasted so long, but
well,
even then.
Yeah, he had a lot of fun fleshing out the world and characters, but it kind of stalled the larger story's progression.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a particular group that did sort of cause the extension, though. Granted, I always felt like even though Oda said he planned it 5 years at minimum, it probably was going to always end up being a 10-year series, because I've tend to notice mangaka, whenever they say, "Oh, the last this long," it ends up being double or triple the amount of length. They end up saying.
Well, that's the thing. One of Yu-Gi-Oh's offer, like what's he said? What do they call it? At the beginning of the volume where the author makes a note. Kazuki Takahashi, I think at one point said, "Oh well, when I started writing Yu-Gi-Oh, I figured, well, I'll aim for about 10 volumes," but it was much more than that.
Yep, I think even Kishimoto attended that, which is probably why the long-term world building had not done it any favors. But I suppose, luckily for One Piece, Oda is very good at it.
Yeah.
Let's see. That he's managed to keep so many fans at least happy, although granted, the last few chapters have caused quite a few controversies.
Well, yeah, I don't know. The whole Yamato thing, I was like, I wonder what all that teasing was for if Yamato wasn't even going to join.
Let's see. I do wonder if Yamato will eventually join, but it seems like the sooner the better. Now, I'm not sure if this might be also maybe some editorial interference, because I do know that the Wano ended up ending a bit quicker because they want to try and tie in Shanks stuff to the One Piece Red film.
Oh, yeah, well, Yeah, that's another problem. It's like, yeah, I'm not really necessarily that. Of course, that movie made 10 billion yen over in Japan, so because it had Shanks in it. So
Yeah, I believe he does appear in the movie, but
I
but I
think he's
won't.
only beginning of the end, from what I heard.
Yeah, Witsy, due to Witsy, unfortunately, Witsy getting recommendations from a spoiler Twitter tag, I've gotten quite a lot of the plot of the film, but I'm not going to spoil that. I'll just have to wait and see if what it said was true.
Well, that's the thing. We're waiting on a U.S. release, but there's been no word of that.
Yeah, I'll be very curious to see how well it will do. Let's see. I doubt it'll just surpass Demon Slayer, but I wouldn't be surprised if it'll go up there with like around Jujutsu Kaisen's movie.
Yeah.
But yes,
All right. Well, let's get started on the chapter.
yeah, yes. But let's see. Now, before the actual chapter, I will do the cover story, which is the Gemma 66R An Emotionless Excursion, Volume 17, in which it says, "Take me with you, get me out of here," as Caesar pleads the Gemma siblings to take him with him after helping them, let's see, in their battle against Katakuri and his brother Oven. As we can see, let's see, Sanji's two elder brothers and his sister Renji, as, let's see, Caesar's pestering the eldest of them. Which, let's see, I assume that they will probably work together, or at the very least, they initially refuse to work with him, but take him along eventually. And this will probably set them up for whatever it is they plan to go to. Let's see, their plans to use them for the future, which I am certain that they're going to return in some form. I'm just not sure yet, though. Given the fact that, let's see, though, given the group that the Cross Guilds is focused in this chapter, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up working with them, given the organization. But yeah, what did you make of this? What did you make of the cover story so far for Germa 66?
Oh, I mean, the cover stories I don't tend to pay too much attention to because although sometimes they do come back to be important later, or they're just like, this is what this character did after this arc was over. Like Ace's story, I think actually sets up like, what ultimately ended up happening to him.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the end of like the 2 years, where are they now? Witty gave the first hint of Sabo. Mm-hmm. With Sabo's return, and the other and some ends up being surprising ones, is like, well, more particularly with like some of the early ones. You had Buggy and Avada teaming up, which they eventually went back to Logtown to encounter the Straw Hats.
How does the anime?
Sorry, what?
How does the anime do the cover stories, or do they not adapt them?
They adapted the first two, at least. They adapted Buggy's adventure, and they adapted Kobe meeting Garp and all that stuff.
Because if anything, I think it would make prime material for filler.
Yeah, you think they would, but but after those ones, they rarely did it. They did the Straw Hat separation ones just because, well, let's see, the Straw Hats were probably the main characters once, Kuma sent them flying and all that stuff. So we got a few episodes of that. But other than that, they've done bits and pieces of the anime for those cover stories. Particular ones I can think of are Warple's, when Warple finally ended up returning to the story, and it's like, oh, this was what happened to Warple. They also did the sort of straw. The Straw Hat Grand Fleet's adventures in the Levely arc, when when Sai was ended up just talking to Leo about how they're all going to get stronger and all that stuff. And you saw some of those cover stories. And other than that, the Straw Hat Bounties one after Dressrosa, they kind of used for like the cutaway bits for the One Piece, where they show the posters and all that stuff for a while. They did that. Those are mostly what I know of the covers. I doubt that they will use the covers now, but many fans have said that. Toei's always made a mistake of not using the cover stories when they could. let's see, for filler and all that stuff. Not to mention, but yeah, it could have saved them quite a few more episodes before they have to end up catching up with the manga. As from what I can tell, they at least give you at least 2 or 3 episodes worth of content.
Yep.
Depending on how you pace them out. maybe even 10. Like with let's see, maybe even if it's like for like separate characters, like the Straw Hats. But anyway, now that cover bit's on, I guess it's on to the actual summary of the chapter, in which the narration says that as the ship sails away from the land of Wano onwards to the direction of its new log post, as we hear Luffy being beaten up, and then Nami screaming how he's not fit to be captain, and then seeing him being introduced as one of the 4 emperors inside a cage, being all beat up, apologizing to Nami while she's angry at him for once again risking their lives in a stupid stunt that nearly plunged them to their deaths and all that stuff. Yeah. Really angry with what happened. Jinbei, being sort of like the chill, sort of like dad type figure character, just says, "We're all fine, so don't be too harsh on it." With, let's see, Nami telling him not to spoil Luffy, if you will. Let's see.
I don't know, like Luffy, it's like, with Luffy, it's your typical shonen humor, like, the girl beating up the boy.
Yeah, the boy being beaten up by the girl for being stupid. Though depending on certain anime, certain people, they'll say, "Oh, it's abusive," even though it is comedy. It's not to be taken seriously.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Let's just say this: I don't know if you've ever seen it's gotten really bad. Has you ever seen the Simpsons episode where Homer's pretending to be Krusty and like they're doing this act with like the Krusty Bear hamburger comes up and then Homer thinks it's actually happening for real and starts attacking him, and the guy's like, "Homer, it's just an act. It's just an act." I was like, a lot of people like that are like Homer now, like towards fictional stuff. It's kind of annoying.
May have not. Let's see. Is that the one where he goes to clown college and all that stuff, and they go like, "Stop! He's already dead." But let's see. But maybe not. But anyway, continue with the chapter. Jinbei is so scared of Nami that she's wondering if what she did was. And some people wonder because of like the sparks that came outside of Nami, wondering if that was the color of the Supreme King she used, given how angry she is. With Chopper warning Jinbei to try and stay back. Let's see, never confront Nami when she's angry. Frankie is, on the other hand, just happy that the Sunny was able to handle that fall pretty well and only just had 1 broken yard. Well, you see just the other Straw Hats either relaxing, sleeping, or just doing whatever silly antics they do.
Yeah. This chapter is basically just telling you what their new bounties are.
Yeah. Yes, which I'm getting to that in a second, with Robin telling everyone, with Sanji being a thing, which once he jumps in, people have kind of noticed that Sanji's bounty picture seems to be back to the drawing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that is an actual official thing or just Oda doing a sort of nod to it.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just funny because Sanji is now is lower than Zoro, which I think caused a bit of a discussion.
Yeah. Oh, yes, but that's always been the case. But anyway, we get the bounties added into the order of the lowest to highest. First, of course, being Chopper. Now, interesting, the narration regards this says that, for the newspaper, saying that Luffy, the Emperor of the Sea, leader of 5,600 pirates in the fleet, and his 9 senior officers are wanted for the following bounties. So it seems that the Straw Hats are all regarded as commanders of the Straw Hat fleet. Even though that's not necessarily technically their relationship with the fleet. But that's probably more discussion later. But first off is Chopper, of course, with a bounty increase of 900 to 1,000 berries. And he's excited before getting angry about the price again. Nami has gone up to 366 million, which he terrifies her, thinking how she would collect this bounty. Brock is just happy that his bounty's gone up, and it's 338 million. And Frankie is angry because now instead of the Iron Shogun is now the face of the Thousand Sunny with a bounty of 394 million berries, says Ritzy with the poster.
Usopp's half a billion.
Yeah, and Usopp is 500 million, and he's so terrified that it's going up more.
No, Nico Robin is number 5.
Yeah, and Ritzy, she doesn't really care. She's just trying to cheer up Chopper with cotton candy, which he loves. But yeah, her bounty, instead of the others who all went up by 300 million, hers has gone up by 800 million, now going to like 930 million. And that's like, that's just 2 million off of smoothies there. In many ways, you could argue Robin could be an unofficial, has now got a commander's level bounty. But the final final 3 new bounties we've gotten, arguably the 3 strongest after Luffy are Sanji with like you said, now below Zoro, but also below Jinbei with a bounty of 1,032 billion berries. Jinbei 1 billion with 100 million berries, and Zoro with 1,111 billion berries.
Yeah.
So yeah, officially you could say that these 3 are like if the Straw Hat Crew was actually bigger, but these would be like the 3 commanders, if you will, since most Yonko seem to be 3 commanders, though. Luffy's crew is probably more guarded like the likes of Blackbeard and Whitebeards, in which they have about at least 9 to 16 senior officers.
Yeah, I'll just say I think it's funny that Buggy is now the Emperor of the Sea.
Oh yeah, that is funny, and that was controversial when it came out, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, but I do like how Sanji's not only angry that Zoro has once again overtaken him, but he is now, being overtaken by Jinbei. Jinbei confused about the situation, but Zoro says, "Don't worry about number 4." And of course, that leads to the 2 of them fighting. Him angry that Zoro's called him 4th place and tells him not to talk back to number 2. Of course, Luffy's bounty is once again shown to be 3 billion berries, but he's just like saying, "Just let me out, I'm hungry," from his cage. But yeah. And he's just like, "I just want to eat," but it's like... but anyway, we now cut to what we saw. What you very much mentioned, how funny it is Buggy to be an emperor. We're about to learn why. As we're back to the Emperor Bluffs Island in the New World, where Buggy's headquarters is residing, with Buggy's crew being, talking about how after the announcement of the 7 warlords that were abolished, they were worried, but they think that Buggy had a plan when he joined forces with Crocodile and Mihawk and all that stuff. And they're just amazed by apparently Buggin's supposedly awesomeness, but in truth, we see Buggy, the Emperor of the Sea, genius jester, being held up by his head, begging for mercy, being beaten up, saying he even licked the mud off their boots, with Crocodile and Mihawk sitting side by side his head, whilst Buggy lays on the floor with them angry about how on earth is he regarded the leader when they are the ones that came up with the Cross Guild, and they're the ones who are supposed to be leading it. With them threatening that not even the biggest apology in the world couldn't save his life right now. And that Buggy being the first probably emperor to beg for his life.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I think really at this point, Oda's just going to have everybody go to where the One Piece is for the final showdown. That's basically what he's going to do.
That does seem like it, but yeah. Let's see.
Because it looks, I'm guessing Luffy versus Blackbeard will be the final fight because that would make sense.
You'd think, but I'm starting to wonder if perhaps this emu fella from the world government might be actually the final villain of the series. It's but yeah, but that's perhaps a bit more after some of the chapter, as Crocodile just goes on about how the humiliation and all that stuff. But me and Ritzy about this situation. But we see Mr. Free now starting to kiss up to his old boss, saying it's delighted to be in his service again. With Buggy calling him a backstabbing traitor, with Mr. Free giving Buggy the cold shoulder by saying, yeah, I never officially joined your crew. He just Ritzy saying, oh, I just hanged out with you because you were Tootsie. It means to an end, really. And even his own Ritzy crewmates don't seem to really Ritzy want to try and help him in this situation and just, okay, Crocodile's the boss now. As Mr. One just looks at them saying, what? Thinking probably, what a disloyal bunch. But no, actually, we don't know what Mr. One is thinking. But we see Mr. One there with them. As Hawkeye's thinking back to when he was called by Crocodile to Gloom Island, just as his title of the Warlord has been stripped. As we see him packing his bags and all that stuff, and with the bamboos watching outside, which is why he's saying that. Which is why Crocodile's saying now that the Marines are being above him, they should now work together because, like, with see the value of their combined reputation and all that stuff, the Navy would have to take them very seriously. Given the fact, and we also get a bit of information on Hawkeye's backstory is that he was once known as the Marine Hunter, and apparently they both are not really ones to trust. So they should work. So they should be able to work for common ground at the very least. And then we cut to Buggy's flashback to just as he's about to try and escape, his crew, his blind followers, caught him before he could do so, as they tell him someone is taking out the Marines. As we see the ships being blown one by one, with like Buggy shocked as who's doing it, and it's revealed that Crocodile and Mr. One came to Buggy with like his crewmates thinking that. Let's see. Buggy, depending on the translation, is either Buggy's subordinate or maybe sworn brother and all that stuff, or at least that's the rumors. And has now come to rescue them in their hour of need, with Buggy going like, let's see, just playing along with it. But in truth, he's actually terrified because it turns out he owes Crocodile money, and the only reason he's come here is not to save him, but to collect his debts and all that stuff. And Buggy's terrified because he's worse than the Navy. With him being like, with Crocodile coming here because he figured, which he was pretty correctly guessed, that Buggy would try to flee and all that stuff. But let's see. But unfortunately, he was unable to. So Buggy tries to grovel, saying like, oh, I've been meaning to give you the money back, but the business, I've had to spend too much on my subordinates, and I've lost my giants and all that stuff. Let's see, with Crocodile threatening to sell him to slavery. But Buggy tries to say that aren't we like, let's see, fellow comrades who escaped Imperial Down, but let's see, he says if you want to keep that friendship, you pay him back and all that stuff. As it was revealed that he's telling him that he's starting a new organization and all that stuff with But in order to try and weasel his way out, says, "How about just let me work for you, and you can use all my company and its resources for free, in order to promote the business for free advertising and all that stuff. Given how they're quite good at advertising their mercenary business and all that stuff." back to the reality. Crocodile then starts to question Buggy about what the deal with this fly, about how it makes him a big shot and all that stuff. Let's see, like he's the boss, but Buggy, and this is apparently this poster is pretty much the reason why everyone thinks that he's the Emperor. But Buggy explained that it wasn't his intention when asked about it, and that it was the fault of his subordinates who love him too much, couldn't help, as we see some of it a bit more of a flashback about how they couldn't help making him the main star of the poster, much to his shock, and the fact that they've already sent it out around the world without his consent. As we cut to Navy HQ talking about Buggy as being one of the ringleaders of Imperial Down, Breakout, and the fact that he was a part of the Pirate King's crew and once the sworn brother to Redhead Shanks.
Yeah.
That apparently, due to his reputation, and now that he's even managed to command the respect of both Mihawk and Crocodile, so that Crocodile ended up rushing to his aid. And let's see, confirmation that Mihawk is involved with Crocodile. Let's see, the Navy Hunters, the Cross Guild, the Navy Hunters have already begun, getting backers from the underworld and all that stuff, and other criminal groups.
Yeah.
And not to mention, due to the current situation in the world, this group will prove to be a big threat to the Marines.
Yeah.
And we finally get the updated bounties of Crocodile and Mihawk, with Crocodiles being 1,965,000,000. Based on his Logi powers and intelligence and leadership. And Mihawk gets 3,590,000,000. And it said that this warlord, his sword skills are so great. It's better than Redhead Shanks. So yeah. And with with everything they said about Buggy and all that stuff, and given the fact he has command over these two men, he's been giving a bounty of 3,189,000,000. As now he, along with Straw Hat Luffy, have been declared, new emperors, a new threat to the world, if you will.
Yeah.
With Crocodile looking like he's about to finish off Buggy, with him just trying to do his last, please don't kill me. Hawkeye starts to think about this in another light, saying that it might not be the worst idea to have Buggy as the stand-in Fallout Emperor, just because he doesn't really want to be an emperor and all that stuff and all that, and he prefers a more quiet life. So just have him as the false figurehead that gets the attention. Crocodile is skeptical at this at first until he says, let him take the heat off them while they can operate, and if he becomes an inconvenience, we can always dispose of him. With Crocodile thinking that this is a good point. Buggy, it introduces to himself and the other two to the crew, and his two to the crew as the leaders of this new organization, as the chief officers and all that stuff, as they head for the new age and all that stuff, with the supporters going celebrating their names and thinking Buggy's crying cheers of joy, but he's thinking what's going to happen to me? As we then finally cut to the last bit of the last 2 pages of the chapter, in which we're back to Kingdom after the not since chapter, I believe, 156, I think, where the warlords initially disband, so about at least 100 chapters, I'd say. Where we find out that the the revolutionary commanders who went to Sabo have returned, with the exception of Sabo, and they were actually separated just before the whole assassination thing went down with Nefertiti Cobra, with just Indian Vonko and Kola just happy that they made it back. Everyone's fine, though. The commanders are sure that Sabo is okay, and they still believe in him. With Betty telling them all to calm down. With then, Kola going to Dragon, asking him what he thinks, but but Dragon saying well, he's glad that Sabo might be fine. If the rumors are true that he did kill Cobra, then he won't really forgive him for this, no matter what his reasons were. As he's now staring face to Kuma, who is now back to got his old Kuma outfit on, with Dragon asking him what he has seen and all that stuff. With Kuma saying, "As you command," showing that he's still got the Pasista programming. Kola being a bit upset, but with Kuma's state, but notices a call as the Marines realize that they were picking up a call. They're homing in on this conversation, thinking that it might be Sabo, so they're telling them to trace the signal.
Yeah.
With Kola answering, and when on the other side it says it's me, Sabo, ending the chapter as Sabo's made contact with the Revolutionary Army. Okay, first of all, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's mainly setup. It's setting up the final arc, I guess. That's basically what it's doing. It's
a pretty good setup, I'll say as well. So, what do you make of the bounties? You satisfied with them, or
the bounties are funny because it's like, even Oda acknowledges Chopper's not doing much.
Well, to be fair, Chopper did have his moment of rescuing all those people from the Ice-Oni virus. But let's see. No, I have to admit, I saw it was kind of 50-50 on people who thought, would Chopper get another joke bounty? Will he actually get a serious bounty this time? Let's see. Oh, let's see. Well, of course, it ends up being 1,000. So, So he did get some increase, though. Now, it's always funny. I've always kind of figured that with Chopper's, joke bounties, like the 50 bounty, I always figured that Chopper was supposed to should be worth 50 million. And his, second one should probably actually be 100 million. If I go by that logic, Chopper would be worth 1 billion with 1,000. Which I'd say would be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say he probably should be around the 300 million like everyone else. With the lower thing. But yeah, it seems like once again it's a joke. Now, whether or not let's see, there will probably be a final set of bounties for everyone. But whether or not Chopper remains a joke to the end has yet to be seen. But poor guy.
Yeah.
Let's see. But I will admit, I am hoping that Chopper does get an actual proper opponent in the next big fight arc. Let's see. I do like all of the reactions to it. Nami, of course, Nami and Usopp don't really want high bounties because being the weakest two members of the crew, they don't want to be targeted by big, scary Marines and bounty hunters, or just powerful opponents in general. Well, they've pretty much survived an emperor at this point. I don't know what else that could scare them.
Yep. It's
I do like how Brock just seems to just be the most chill about his bounty among the low ones. Though
it's like with Zoro and Sanji, it's like Zoro and Sanji are gonna, it's like they always compete. They're just they're rivals.
Sanji fans were just when he got his third bounty after Whole Cake Island. We're finally happy that he's got a higher bounty than Zoro, even if it was by 10 million. And there was that one tease he did against Zoro, but now it's come to bite them in the back. But also now Jinbei has surpassed them. But I'm not surprised that Sanji is the fourth highest because that's been the case for like most of the times the Straw Hats have gotten the bounties.
Yeah.
Technically, Nico Robin technically had a higher bounty than him. Usopp had a higher bounty than him at one point, and now it's Jinbei. Let's see. So it's like, yeah, that's no surprise, but I do like how they're fighting over it. Frankie, I think, is the funniest one because of the fact that, once again, he's got a new wanted poster. And what some people have pointed out is that this seems to be based on the bad timeline Oda did once in the SBSs, where he said, like, if Frankie grew up to be rather poorly, he would have become a robot and then a ship.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know how that would happen, but heck.
Well, let's see. So, if you were going to take a guess, how many more chapters do you think the series has? I'm going to give it to over 1,200, but not much more than that.
Well, let's see. 1,200 is what many people are expecting, since the first half was 600, and the second half is, let's see, will also be 600. And that would fit in with the idea of Oda wanting the series to end in 3 years. But given Oda's pacing, and even himself knows there's a lying, I think at very least we're probably, and I wouldn't be surprised if somehow One Piece ended up ending on its 30th year anniversary in 5 years. So, since 2027. So
yeah. Well, also I listen to what Oda does, like his health. It's like, you look. I get that he loves his work, but you get the sense it's not healthy.
No, it's shonen. It seems like the shonen, break stuff isn't exactly healthy for one's health, as we've seen with many other mangakas when they probably needed breaks or a bit more time to do their works.
Yeah.
Let's see, but yeah, I mean, Kadashi, I think, or Togashi for Hunter x Hunter, I think can only lie on his back while doing the manga work. Let's see. But yes, so my main prediction for One Piece, I believe it has from 150 to 250 chapters left. Because there's still quite a lot of stuff left to be tackled. Mostly, like, we have 2 remaining supernovas that need to probably be developed. We've got Dr. Vegapunk, Blackbeard, Shanks, Elbaf, Laughtail, and whatever's going on with the world government. Oh, and I guess the Revolutionary Army.
Mm-hmm.
So, and let's see, I feel like that will require a bit of pacing. Granted, let's see, Dressrosa, Whole Cake, and Wano have all been mega arcs, if you will. In the fact they span from 80 to 150-ish so chapters. So, but yeah. But I figure Oda is likely going for some more smaller arcs before going for like a fun, before going to the big final conflict, if you will. But we'll just probably have to wait and see. But granted, I don't think we're getting anything as long as Wano now.
Yeah.
Let's see, but yeah. So that's that bit, but yeah, I also do like the dynamic with like the Straw Hats here. Let's see, particularly Jinbei and Nami, but yeah. Now I take it. Let's see. Now this bit with Nami has caused a bit of discussion of whether or not Nami actually has Conqueror's Hockey. Personally, I think it's just Nami being just so angry that Jinbei's just intimidated by it. Thinking that was that. I don't really think she has Conqueror's Hockey.
Yeah.
Now she did. That would probably explain how she's able to pummel Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, but then be like against any other enemy. But yeah, it's mostly Japanese comedy. But speaking of comedy, I do like how our 2 new emperors. Let's see, you probably have the whole world thinking how dangerous these individuals are, but right now they're being held in cages or being held to at face point in life or death situations, given their silly antics.
Yep.
But yeah, sorry, go on.
Well, it's it's got like we gotta see where it's going. Like I'm predicting, like Shanks is gonna show up soon. That's my guess.
Mm-hmm.
Then because my guess is that Blackbeard's gonna kill Shanks right in front of Luffy. That's my guess.
Fair enough.
Well, that's what my friends and I were discussing this. Like, is that it's like he's gonna kill him somehow, and then he's gonna say to Luffy, "I'll be waiting for you at the One Piece. Don't disappoint me."
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess.
That I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Many have predicted that is more likely to go down. Now, granted, let's see. Now, granted, the last few chapters has make me wonder if whether or not the whole theory of Shanks actually being enemies of Luffy will actually end up being true itself. Given his since he now is also aiming to collect the One Piece, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah. But anyway, but speaking of let's see. But in regards to Shanks, we might as well talk about his oldest friend, now enemy. But yeah, this chapter it finally explains how Buggy ended up being an emperor, which was a huge controversy when it was announced just before the 4-week break, where let's see, many people will more like the ones who are like the more serious and strong characters, or those who were hoping like either Law or Kid becomes the emperor, ended up being outraged that a joke like Bruggy ended up taking such a high-ranking position.
Okay.
But it's like, let's see. Now, granted, I still think it is brilliant and pretty good foreshadowing from Oda's part with like volume 25, where you have like the 4 emperors on that volume cover. So it's like, yeah, Oda's had this planned out for what? So at least since Skypiea Saga, that these 4 individuals would become emperors.
Yeah. Well, there's only going to be one. I think. Well, there's only going to be one king when this is over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the emperor title is all fine and dandy, but there is, of course, one title above it.
Of course,
at least a lot of pirates.
Joy Boy, for all we know. So.
Well, he seems to be the successor of Joe Boy as well, but who knows? It may be likely that Joe Boy and the Pirate King title are more intertwined than we might know. But yeah. So yeah, no, this is like. But yeah, I do know some people treat like the Emperor title as like you're sort of like your, let's see, the Pirate King before the Pirate King, or you're the Hokage before the Hokage kind of situation. Yep. But yeah, let's see. But it's nice to know. Let's see, because interesting. Once like but given when the Buggy was announced as Emperor, you get all these memes about Buggy's Conqueror's hockey, his elite crew, and all that stuff. All that kind of stuff of like, oh, how he must have been a genius mastermind, or at least had Long John's treasure to like create this organization. But no, he once again, he had nothing to do with it, and just got there in the right timing, really. But I think for those who had predicted that once it was revealed that Crocodile and Hawkeye were part of this group, there's like, okay, it's likely Crocodile is what the mastermind behind this, because, well, he created Brokeworks.
Yeah. What's that noise? Your phone?
I'm sorry. Oh, that was just I think that's a WhatsApp thing. Sorry about that. So I'm just getting some water and all that stuff. But yeah. And turns out Buggy also had no money at all. It's actually Crocodile that he owes money to. And how he was able to be saved. So, in many ways, in some ways, it does kind of work out for Buggy, because he can still have his blind army of loyal followers and not have to try and worry about escaping. But he might even be in more bigger trouble with Crocodile. But yeah, I do like how we end up learning that, in order to see, he ends up he agrees to work under Crocodile just to pay off his debt. And it's Crocodile who goes to Mihawk to join and all that stuff. But I do find it interesting that Hawkeye has a marine hunter, Elasis, kind of similar to how Zoro's was like the pirate hunter.
Yep.
So it gives you a bit of a parallel to each other and all that stuff, given the fact that Hawkeye is expected to be Zoro's final opponent and all that stuff in the series.
Yeah.
It's interesting that apparently Hawkeye doesn't really trust many people, apparently. It's implying something happened to him in his past.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry. But anyway, I do find it funny how Mr. Free and the rest of Buggy's elite officers just immediately suck up to Crocodile and it's the abandoned Buggy and it looks like he's a goner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just who's gonna defeat Buggy? Who do you think is gonna defeat Buggy?
Well, let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if Luffy and Buggy end up just having another confrontation again, and his followers mistaking it as like a huge epic battle, when in truth it's just Luffy taking Buggy too seriously at first and is goofing off and getting damaged a bit in a similar manner to like the Foxy Luffy versus Foxy fight, an opponent that's much weaker than Luffy, but due to like tricks and deception and all that stuff, and Luffy being a dumbass, he's just taking some serious damage, if you will. But I could see something like that going down. Another comedic battle between Luffy and Buggy, with Luffy just not until like the end taking it serious.
Yeah.
Or I could possibly see possibly Sanji just beating Buggy, and then everyone just thinks like, oh my god, he's such a big shot. Or maybe even God Usopp, just because Oda likes to make a meme out of like Usopp as well.
Yeah.
But who knows? But it could be that Luffy and Crocodile have another rematch themselves, though. People might say that Crocodile might be just a bit too below Luffy at this point. Though, to be fair, granted, Crocodile's bounty, which I am shocked by how high it is.
Yeah.
But then again, Oda did probably admit at one point saying that with someone because Crocodile is regarded as one of the best villains in One Piece, if not regarded as the first truly great antagonist.
Yeah.
The first one to actually defeat Luffy not once but twice. Let's see, and not to mention had an entire saga dedicated to beating him.
Yeah.
Figured that he probably added Crocodile too early, and it does make the question like how the warlords had any chance of taking on emperors and all that stuff. So interesting enough, this cross guild thing is the alliance of the first three warlords introduced to the series, technically. Well, to be fair, Buggy wasn't really a warlord when we first met him.
Yeah. Anyway.
But it's interesting to note that I would think that apparently one of the reasons why One Piece went for so long was the fact that Oda introduced the 7 warlords. There was only originally supposed to be the 4 emperors first. And then the warlords came, and that apparently made the series much, much longer.
Yeah. Well.
Mm-hmm. So they're partly the reason why One Piece ended up being as long as it was. But yeah.
Well, just a little bit of a.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's gonna. Well, all we'll have to do is wait and see because the pacing of Wano was a little rushed towards the end, so hopefully
Yeah,
he'll be able to avoid that.
yeah. Yeah, I will. Now, granted, we learned that was partly due to the try and tie into the One Piece Red thing. So hopefully, now that that film's out of the way, Oda won't be doing that with like this with the Final Saga and all that stuff because, well, we do. I would like it. Well, would like to see the ending. I would like to also see him take his time, but I will admit he's been pretty good with the pacing in this chapter. With like you saw what you need to see with the bounties, and you saw what you needed to see with the dynamic with Cross Guild, with Crocodile and Mihawk being, the leaders and all that stuff, with how they ended up teaming up, how Buggy ended up working under them, and how he ended up being by accident being regarded as an emperor.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's pretty much his loyal followers being too damn blind. That ended up sending a poster out without his consent. I just love how his reaction is to that because he probably knows like how Crocodile and Mihawk were going to react.
Yeah. Well, I gotta wrap it up soon because I gotta go do some stuff. So,
fair enough. I'll get to it with T just quickly, but yeah. I do like how they just decided, you know what, we'll just use him as a public figure for now while they'll be behind the leaders' things. But the Cross Guilds has made a lot of like people guessing who else might join this organization because there's like a lot of old foes are coming back. So some are predicting Jammer 66, Doflamingo, some other pirates maybe, but we'll have to wait and see in that regards. But I guess that the last bit I want to talk about is the fact that the interesting thing to let's see. Oh yeah, one last thing with the Cross Guilds is that with Mihawk's bounty, I'm pretty certain that Zoro's final bounty now is going to be 3.6 billion. Would be pretty fitting if you ask me. But yeah. But anyway, one thing is that last bit I want to get on to discussion is that the stuff with the revolutionaries. I found it interesting to learn that the officers left just before apparently Cobra was assassinated.
Yeah.
So then my guess is this is probably the bit where they found Kuma and they were rescuing him while Sabo was trying to investigate something, and then as that happened, Cobra got assassinated. Now I do find it interesting how Dragon seems to be against the idea of Sabo assassinating Vivi's dad, despite the fact that the assassination of him and Sabo's declaration of war has led to various revolutions across the world and people following Sabo. I have had to guess that Dragon perhaps seems to maybe think that Cobra's one of the nicer kings or something, or that's like not to try to take out certain kings like that, only like the corrupt ones like Wapple, or the ones that are like government stooges. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Perhaps he's worried about his cause there. But the interesting thing to note is, some have theorized that when he's talking to Kuma and he's still when he's still a pacifist mode, whether or not we'll ever see the old Kuma again. But one thing that I've noticed that people are talking about is the fact that Kuma goes like, as you command and all that stuff. And some translations masters has led to some wondering if the theory that Dragon is the son of a world noble might be true. I'm not sure if you've heard of this theory.
Yeah.
Where, Garp was, married a world noble, and Dragon's the kid and all that stuff, and Luffy's thing. And I think it fits with some sort of monkey king god kind of mythology story in the East. I can't remember the name of it, but that seems to be what people are seemingly drawing parallels to that.
Yeah. All I can say is that we'll just have to wait and see. That's basically what we're gonna do.
Yeah, fair enough. So anyway, from this chapter implies we're probably going to get an explanation of what next chapter of or at least begin to understand what happened with Sabo and Cobra, and possibly what happened to Vivi as well. Maybe. I'm still thinking that she's going to join the Straw Hats for this final voyage, so that Oda will have those 11 crew members at the very least, if Yamato. is not aboard, but we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, that's it.
anyway,
But anyway,
all I gotta say is that well, all we can do now is wait and see where we go because we're in uncharted territory right now.
yes, for the first time since arriving at Pongkazad, we have no idea where we're going.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd probably give this chapter I'm probably fanboying a bit. It's probably a 9 to 10 out of 10.
Okay. I don't do ratings, so okay.
Fair enough. That's just how I normally. That's just what I do. But that's fine if you don't want to do it. But yeah, but if this is a pretty good setup, and if Oda does more pacing like this, I could possibly see him getting it done in 3 years. But I'm still under the mark that it'll be 5 years. But we'll wait and see.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this chapter, Greg. I hope to see you again for something else because I've got an idea too of what to discuss next.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right.
But yeah.
Talk to you later.
See you later. And for those who end up watching this, I hope you enjoyed it. And those who will watch it later, I am Blue Star Saber, and now I am signing off. Goodbye, everyone.